Thank him, and I wanted Barbara French, who has served for years as our treasurer, and her selfless dedication to that role. She's not able to attend, so we'll be able to get to her a little later. But Peter, would you come forward again?
I'm not sure we're believing what he said.
I know.
We have a little something for Peter for his service with the board over the years, and just a little thank you. And I hope he doesn't give to the cows, because you know what they'll do.
Thank you again.
I know you wanted to hear more and more. I heard that, but we need to press on. Okay. We will now, if Marion Davenport will come forward. Marion and her husband Ken have been members of the association since 1988, so quite a while. And Marion will be presenting our 11th annual George A. Stevens Memorial Award tonight, and hopefully won't keep us in suspense too long.
It is an honor this evening to be the presenter of the George A. Stevens Memorial Award, and it's most appropriate to reflect a moment upon George's life. I met George during the first campaign of the Santa Barbara voters against rent control. By the time we reached the end of our third successful campaign, I had developed a deep appreciation for George, as he always brought the tangibility of humanness to the table. There was never a job too big or small, too important or unimportant to be tackled, leaving us the lesson that countless unseen details are often the only difference between mediocrity and magnificence. Most remember George for his over the quarter of centuries service to our organization as an officer, director, committee chairperson, role model, and community leader. He was also a co-founder of the Santa Barbara Rental Housing Mediation Task Force. But most of all, he was a generous landlord and a gentleman. Before George's history with the Santa Barbara Rental Apartment Association, George grew up in Santa Barbara and proudly served his country as an aircrew member during World War II, flying missions, evacuating Chinese to Taiwan before the takeover of Mao. He flew in the CIA's airline in Southeast Asia. Without question, George was a member of the greatest, hardest-working generation this country has ever known, and beautifully told by Doris Kearns Goodwin in her book, No Ordinary Time. Simply put, it's ordinary people doing extraordinary things. It is not by accident that I pointed out George's military career. This year's recipient is a product of a young couple who met in the military. Her father was a medic, her mother a new volunteer. So naive was this young woman, she responded to several recalls to be revaccinated and re-inoculated, fortunately with sterile saline solution, before she realized she was simply being recalled, not because the medic was incompetent, but because he wanted to date. So where's the tie-in? There's always a tie-in. And the tie-in to this year's recipient is that she was born to parents who worked hard. It's what their generation did, and they passed it on. This year's recipient has served this organization on the board of directors as secretary, membership chairman, vice president, 2 years as president. She also served the COM Auxiliary 2 years as president and chaired more committees than perhaps she can even remember. COM stands for Child Abuse Listening Mediation Center, and this year's recipient was most instrumental in initiating and producing the first fundraising annual authors luncheon held each spring, which has grown over the last 20-plus years to include an intimate group of 700 plus of her closest friends, in addition to the local, national, and international authors. This is quite an event. So detail-oriented is our recipient's passion for perfection. The only payoff comes in the form of satisfaction derived from a job well done. Often when weary from these extra projects, I reminded her how great these things will look on her resume. I won't bore you with her response, as it's frankly not repeatable. But at the end of the day, her stunning wit and sense of humor is often all that is left. This year's recipient was born in Chicago and moved with her family in the early 1950s. She attended Peabody Elementary School, K through 6, graduated from San Marcos High School, received her bachelor's degree from Cal Poly in St. Louis, though my husband doubts this. As he says, there sure weren't any Polly Dollies that good looking when he was here. She received her teaching credentials at UCSB and has been teaching us ever since. And I don't have to remind you, you'll do whatever it takes until we get it right. As a child, this young girl did not speak until she was 3. And when she did, it was a complete sentence and hasn't been quiet since. If you see me after this presentation and the bar is still open, I can be bought revealing the sentence contents. It's a good story. Her property management experience began to acquire as simple as to pick them up for the airport. Such is life when you are dedicated to always trying to do the right thing. Obviously, it's no secret that this year's recipient is Becky Cohn.
I'm not.
It's right.
Give her this award.
They didn't tell me this. Becky, may I please present you with the George A. Stevens Award.
I'm not, as most of you who know me, I'm not frequently speechless. I am totally blown away, and I've been totally had tonight by this. I'm very much honored. I can't believe the people whose company that I join with receiving this award, and I'm truly honored. Thank you very, very much.